Taxes. Hey, as we all know, taxes exist. The IRS exists. Every year, the Internal Revenue Service collects taxes in the United States. But when are taxes actually due? It may seem like a strange question, but it takes us to this week's case. It involves a man, Rick Norsigian. Rick was attending a garage sale in California, and there he found a box of glass negatives for making photographs. And he said, you know, these might be kind of interesting, and he wanted them, asked how much they were being sold for. The guy was asking $75. Rick said, well, you know what, I'll give you $45. So he gives him $45, takes them home, and he really starts to examine them. And what does he find out? Well, they appear to be original glass negatives that were made by Ansel Adams. Ansel Adams, of course, being the extremely famous photographer who took a bunch of pictures in the American West. So Rick gets a hold of some people who can appraise that kind of an item and authenticate whether or not it is, in fact, an Ansel Adams glass negative. Lo and behold, people he talks to say, Rick, you know what? That does appear. These do appear to be Ansel Adams glass negatives. Oh boy. So what do you think they're worth? Well, Rick, we think they could be worth as much as $200 million. $200 million. Oh boy. But the big question now, do I owe taxes now for $200 million just because I bought these things for $45? Well, the very short answer to that question is no, 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 no. He only owes money on the money that he makes for selling those photographs or anything that he sells related to the photographs. So as an example, if he sells one of the photographic plates and he sells it, let's say, for $1 million, well, he would have to apportion the $45 over all the plates, and let's say there were 45 plates, so each plate was $1. And he would then subtract from the $1 million the $1, and he would have to pay taxes on basically $999,001 or $99. And that would only be due in the year in which he sold that negative, because that's the only time in which the negative was actually converted to liquid funds, to cash, check, whatever else, monies that could be spent. Now this differs from another case that's quite well known in tax law that took place in 1957. There was a couple, they bought a piano for $15 in 1957. 1964, when they were tuning it or doing something else, they found almost $5,000 in the piano. And in that case, the IRS contended that they owed taxes on the full $5,000 because the $5,000 could be spent right then and there. And that case was appealed through the courts, and the courts came away and said, that's right. In that instance, because it is actual cash, which can be used for any purpose, well, you owe taxes on that $5,000. So what do we learn from this case? What do we learn from this case? What we learn is you can come into property in your life, whether it's a house, whether it's a car, whether it's photographic glass plates, whatever you come into, it comes into your life, you have the ability to possibly make money with them, selling your house for an increased value or whatever else. And you only owe taxes on the income, which is the difference between what you purchased the item for and what you sold the item for, when you sell the item. Prior to that, we have no idea what the item might be worth, and therefore it's impossible to determine whether any income is due because it might actually decrease in value. Okay, we bring you this case as we bring cases every week so you understand how the law works. I'm David Allen.